I got a request from some students to evaluate the use of ChatGPT on my homework. So I thought I would start with one of my first problems on homework. So I have the paid version of ChatGPT loaded, and this is a problem in which I'm introducing students to plotting in MATLAB. I ask them to plot a series of polygons, regular polygons, and I give them hints on as to how to make the polygons. I show them a function called draw circle, and I hint that they should be able to modify that function in order to make polygons. So what I'm going to do is upload. I've never tried using ChatGPT, so I'm going to start by just giving it the file and asking it to solve the problem. So I'm going to say, could you please solve problem 2 for me? How about in the attached PDF? Use MATLAB. I think by default it uses Python. Seems to understand what I want it to do. Okay, it generated a function and a script. Tells me to copy the functions in the script. Oh, this looks pretty promising. Okay, let's try it. So I'm going to say new function. Paste in the function, save it, draw regular polygon.m, and now the code. I'm going to say new script, paste. I can call it whatever I want because it's a script, but I'll use ChatGPT's suggestion. Generate polygon figure. Let's try it. Okay, it's not quite right. Let's go to the PDF file again. So it seems to have made some stuff up. Okay, let's see if we can coach ChatGPT to do better. But actually, hold on. Before I do that, I don't want to dwell on the negative here. Let's see. Often what I find with ChatGPT is that even though it gets some things wrong, it actually really teaches me how to solve problems. It's not a replacement for human intelligence, but it can actually be very handy. I'm looking over the code, and I think it actually, there are some parts of it that I don't like very much. For example, where did, oh, okay. So it used a different approach from my original code. So I set the for loop to go from 0 to 2 pi in steps of the number of sides. But what it did here is calculated the theta, which is the change in angle between different vertices in the polygon. So that's okay. I think the basic construction of this code is actually pretty good. Not quite the way I would have done it. And in fact, if I could probably modify this code to make the figure that I want, right? So in fact, I think ChatGPT did a great job. Right, it is drawing the wrong shapes. So let's see if, and also the problem does not ask it to put titles here. So it's actually just inferring that we would want titles. All that can easily be modified, but let's manually. But I'm not trying to do manual coding right now. I'm just trying to see if I can get ChatGPT to solve this problem. Okay, so I've also been told that you should be very polite to ChatGPT. Could you make some modifications for me? Let's start with okay, so actually I'm going to say first, I do not want titles in the subplots. It's telling me what to do. I like that it tells me in English what to do, but then it also generates code. That's great. Okay, so next, let's talk about the polygon on the top right. How about in the top right panel? I want a triangle, not a square. I want it to point to the right. This is concerning. Oh, I was talking about the top left panel, but I told it top right, so that's actually my fault. I didn't get left and right straight, but let's see what it did. It didn't do what I wanted. It didn't point to the right. It's pointing down. But let's. Sorry, I meant that I want the triangle on the top left panel, not top right. Also, the triangle you drew points down, not to the right. Hopefully I got right and left correct this time. Okay, let's copy this code and see what it gives us. Okay, it did move it to the top left, but it didn't change the orientation. Let me just delete figures. And, well, okay, I'm going to stop trying to get it to give me the orientations I want, because I can fiddle with the rotation angle manually. I want to see if it will give me two triangles in the top left panel. I want you to plot two triangles in the top left no, top right panel. Both should be triangles. With their, I'm going to actually say regular triangles with their circle of, what is it called? Circle of subscription? I actually don't remember. Centered at the origin. The bigger triangle should point up, and the smaller triangle should point to the right. I think I should not be telling it where to point things. Okay, that's pretty good. It did give me two triangles, a bigger and a smaller one, but didn't quite get the orientations right. Let's actually fiddle. Well, hold on. Let me get the other shapes correct, and then I'll fiddle with the orientations. Okay, so on the bottom left I want a diamond, and the bottom right I want a pentagon. Say thank you. Now I want a diamond on the bottom left panel and a pentagon on the bottom right panel. Okay, pretty good. Not exactly what I wanted, but I am very impressed. So let's now manually fix this. Let's go, let's tile this. Actually, maybe I don't want the figure. Actually, you know what? I want it like this. Okay, so let's fix. Okay, so subplot 2 by 2 by 1, that should be the top left. I want a triangle. The comments say pointed to the right, but I don't think it's interpreting the pointing correctly. I'm actually just going to set the angle to 0. Yeah, now it looks like what I want. I guess it's creating a new figure every time, which is not really necessary. I'm going to comment out the figure command. Okay, so that looks good. And now the subplot 2, 2, 2, which is this panel. I believe it counts the panels 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2, 2, 2. I think the outer triangle is okay. I'm not paying close attention to the radius. All the outer triangle is a radius of, it's a radius of 2, I think. So let's set the radius. Oh, it is actually set to 2. Oh, sorry, no, it's the diameter. The parameter is diameter, not radius. Yeah, it's so if the radius is 2, the diameter is 4, and 90. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so now the smaller triangle has a radius of 1, which is a diameter of 2, and the angle should be 0. Okay, let's put a... I usually put the commands clear, CLF, close. That just gets rid of figures in between runs. Okay, very good. I'm not too concerned about the coloring here, but if I wanted to be concerned about it, I would just change the order of when it draws the triangles. Okay, that's fine. I also just noticed this, but it's drawing little dots when it draws the polygons, and the dots are not in my in my figure. We'll look at that in a minute. Okay, so now the third panel, this one, it's a diamond, not a square. So that should be an angle of 0. The radius seems to be 1.5, which corresponds to a diameter of 3. That's fine. I am irritated that ChatGPT thinks in degrees and not radians, but I can live with that. We also would need to expand the range, but whoops. But I think we're close. I don't know how to change the range. That would be... So if you're in my class, you would know to find these things in my lecture notes. Actually, no. You know what? Let's ask ChatGPT. How do I change the plot range? How about plot X range and Y range in a MATLAB figure? Okay. That I can do. Now, what do I want to change it to? Where did my homework go? Okay. So let's see. Xlim. I want to go from -2 to 2. Ylim. Same. Is that right? Yeah, I think the difference is that the figure is a bit elongated. Still odd. It looks a little different. It's got the aspect ratio square, but I actually kind of like that. So I'm just going to leave that. Let's now do the same in this plot. So it appears that when you use xlim and ylim, it actually fixes the aspect ratio of the panel, which I actually like better. There may be a way to change. We can ask. I don't feel like doing this, but how do I change the aspect ratio of a MATLAB figure? Axis equal, axis square. Okay. Well, it looks like it's giving me things that I could use to make these changes, but I don't feel like doing that right now. We could fiddle with them to make this match exactly, but I don't, students in my class will know that I don't really focus on little details like that. I'm not going to penalize people if their aspect ratios are not exactly what I asked for. Let's So I like that figure. In fact, I wouldn't penalize people for drawing the little circles, but I do want to know how to turn that off. Oh, here we go. That's easy. Well, let's just keep this. I don't want to delete the line in case I want to change it back, but it looks like that should do the trick. Lovely. I think we have accomplished our mission.